This is the Tech Phantom, and welcome to episode 17 of this Dark Souls Easy Mode walkthrough. We are using a high level intelligence build to get through Dark Souls as easily as we can. And this is going to be an action packed episode, so I hope you guys enjoy it. And we are going to start it off by buying the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring. Now, we had previously purchased the Bellowing Dragon Crest Ring, which increases the damage of sorceries and pyromancies by 20%. The Lingering Crest Ring will not affect all of your spells. It will only affect what I like to call status based sorceries, but what the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring does is that it will increase the duration of spells and sorceries. So for example, when you have the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring equipped, spells like Cast Light, for example, will last about 50% more. Now, what's very important for us is that the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring also boosts sorceries and pyromancies, and we have been using Power Within. So the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring will give us the capability to use Power Within for 50% longer. Power Within lasts for 100 seconds, but when you have the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring equipped, it can be extended all the way up to 150 seconds, which is 2.5 minutes, and that is a long time to have your damage output boosted. And we have seen the Dragon Crest Ring, the Bellowing Dragon Crest Ring in action in previous episodes, so in this episode I thought that we would use the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring. And I know that I've said this in a previous episode as well, but the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring is excellent for melee builds, again, because it gives you the capability to use Power Within for a very, very long time. Alright, but enough about that. Let's get ready for the first boss fight of this episode, and we are going to be taking on the Four Kings. Now, if you guys are familiar with the Four Kings, you know that they are supposedly have very, very high magic defense. And we're going to find out in this episode if they can really withstand to the damage output that we are going to be doing with the combination of Soul Spear, Crystal Soul Spear, Homing Soul Mass, Crystal Homing Soul Mass, and Power Within, and the Tint Crystallization Catalyst. So again, we're going to go in there loaded for bear. The strategy is going to be to use one of the Sans rings to give us an additional attunement slot, cast Power Within, and then immediately switch to the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring, because that will boost the duration of the spell. Now, one interesting tidbit that I confirm is that the effect of the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring will kick in as soon as you put it on. So you don't have to have the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring equipped prior to casting your spell. And you will see that when we get ready for the boss fight, you will see me cast Power Within, then take out the Sans ring, lose Power Within, which would be useless anyway because you only get one cast of that pyromancy, and then switch to the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring, and you'll see that I have the effect pretty much, the Power Within effect pretty much going for very close to 150 seconds, so I get almost the full 100% extended duration that I get from the Lingering Dragon Crest Ring, even though I equip it after casting Power Within on myself. A couple other things about the Four Kings is that their attacks are all magic based. They have swords that does magic damage, and they also have projectile attacks that do magic damage. So right now I'm rocking the Boulder shield, but I am going to switch to the Crest shield, which has high magic defense. And I've also put on the stone set to have a little bit more damage. At least I put on what I can of the stone set. I have the stone gauntlets equipped, and I've done that so that I have a little bit more defense, and also because I want to have a little bit of poise. So in case I get hit while I'm trying to cast an offensive pyromancy, I'm able to do that. Now, the reason I'm using the lingering Dragon Crest ring is because this is a boss fight in which you have to defeat um, a number of four kings. It doesn't have to be four. As a matter of fact, if you can do enough damage, you won't even get to the fourth king. Um, it just depends on your damage output. And you can actually damage the four kings after they disappear. While that um, bright cloud when they die is on the screen, you can actually shoot that bright cloud or attack it, and you'll see that the life bar decreases. But I'm not gonna do that because I would have to blind aim Soul Spear, and I tried to do it and I miss, and I have a limited number of Soul Spear um, castings, so they're pretty valuable, so I'm not going to try to blind aim. And the strategy is just going to be to use the Soul Mass and then follow that up with the Soul Spear, and that should take out the bosses. But anyway, the reason I'm using the lingering ring as opposed to the battling ring is because of the time, and I want to have the damage output as high as possible. But you know what, guys? With this build, at this particular moment with easy mode, it really doesn't matter. You could actually have the Bellowing Dragon Crest ring equipped, and it's possible that you can actually finish the fight faster because you'll be doing more damage. As a matter of fact, that's probably what would have happened there. You see that I'm at the third king. I just finished the third king. I'm waiting for the fourth king, and there's a little bit of life left. So if you're following along and you want to use the bellowing ring instead of the lingering ring, go ahead. The fight probably would have been over by now. I just spent 20,000 souls on the lingering Dragon Crest ring, and I wanted to show you guys how to use it, and I wanted to get my money's worth. So I decided to use that ring for that fight. And obviously, if you're in melee mode, the lingering Dragon Crest ring really comes in handy during this boss fight. And there it is. The Four Kings fight is over. And as you could see, it was completely stress-free. There was absolutely no time at all where I was in any danger. And I had plenty of distance between myself and the enemy. And as soon as Soul Spear hit, along with the Soul Mass spell, that was all she wrote, and the enemy was dispensed, and we had to wait for the next one to spawn. So we received 60,000 souls for killing the Four Kings, and we're going to use that again. We're working, we have the amount of intelligence, more intelligence that we could possibly need for the first run through of the game. So now we're going to continue to work on vitality and endurance. And vitality will give us more life, obviously, and endurance is going to allow us to have more stamina for attacks, to block more, but it's also going to allow us to equip better armor as well, so have a little bit better defense. So you saw me warp to Anor Londo, and the reason I did that is because I had a bunch of souls, and I wanted to very quickly farm enough souls so that I can level up. So I cut out the farming, but you guys have seen farming in the trailer, and you've seen farming on previous episodes, and you know how quickly and easy it is to farm in Anor Londo with this build. So I just went to Anor Londo and I farmed, and I leveled up again. Alright, so the next boss that we are going to take on in this episode is Dark Sun Wendelin. And in order to get to the area where Dark Sun Wendelin is, you need to have a special ring equipped. You need the Dark Moon Sands ring. We have the White Moon, I think it's called the White Sands ring. Both Sands rings, when you equip them, will give you an additional attunement slot. But the additional use for the Dark Moon Sands ring is that it will open the path to Dark Sun Windolin when you equip it, you have it on yourself, and when you're standing in the area that leads to that boss fight. So we will do that in a little bit. So first thing we need to do is we need to go get the ring, and the ring is actually located down in the catacombs. And what I'd like to do is go to the bonfire that is closest to the seance ring. So I'm making my way over there. And I'm pretty confident that I'm not going to die, so I've skipped the first bonfire. But if you wanted to be a little bit more conservative, you can rest at the first bonfire. We have the ability to warp from bonfire to bonfire, so that makes this a little bit easier. But I'm pretty confident. I've done this quite a number of times, and with the Gargoyle's Halberd, and with my spells, and with the maxed out Crest Shield, I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to die. So I've skipped the first bonfire in the catacombs, and I'm just making my way to the second bonfire, and that will be our base home from which to attack and get the Dark Moon Sands Ring. I'm going to trip a couple of levers, and I'm going to pick up some souls again. And either kill or run past these skeletons. And as you can see, by just, blocking and holding your shield, these skeletons really are not that big of a deal. Now I want to take out that sorcerer. I'm sorry. I want to take out this this enemy here that has the skull lantern. And the reason I want to do that is so that the skeletons won't respawn after I kill them. And there is going to be another of the necromancers. So I'm just making my way up to him. And I fell and died. So I guess I should have rested on the first bonfire. So like I said, guys, if you wanted to play a little bit more conservatively, I guess I'm not as good as I thought it was at this section. I died, but no worries. Let's try it again. So we're back to the same area where we were. And now that we killed that first necromancer, he doesn't respawn. And we've recovered our souls. And now let's take out this necromancer. And trip this lever. And that's going to open up a block that will allow us to proceed forward. And this area is now open. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the Great Scythe just out of habit, because it's one of my favorite weapons in the game, and just in case you didn't know where it was, that's the location for the Great Scythe. It's and you can drop onto where the Necromancer was and where you trip the lever. And now let's make our way to the bonfire. I don't know why I healed there. I guess just a little out of habit there. So we are going to open up the path forward by tripping this lever, and that will rotate the bridge. And there's an illusory wall here that you can hit and proceed to the bonfire. And again, we can rest here because we have the ability to warp, so we won't have to walk out of this place. We will have to, we can warp out, which is why I like to come here after we've gotten the Lord Vessel and we've gotten the ability to warp. So now we can cross this platform that we rotated with the lever, and we're gonna go past this fog door. There's a couple of skeletons here. We're going to ignore them. I'm gonna break through the wall. Now I'm gonna show you a little bit of an easy mode strategy. The ring that we want is on that altar, but what I like to do instead is go to the right, go through that opening, and continue going forward, and continue going all the way up here. And the reason I like to do that is because there are going to be a lot of skeletons that are going to be following you, and there's also going to be a giant skeleton. So I'd like to come all the way up here where the necromancer is, kill the necromancer, and now the opening is too small for that giant skeleton to follow me. And there you can see the giant skeleton. He's kind of stuck there. So now it's a shooting gallery. So with Soul Spear, I can take out multiple enemies at the same time. And I can just use Homing Soul Mass and the Lightning Gargoyle's Halberd. And because I've killed the Necromancer, these skeletons are not going to respawn. So I'm going to go back out. To where the altar was, and there's the altar. And now I can simply pick up the Dark Moon Sands ring without any of the enemies around. So anyway, that's the way I'd like to do it. You can also suicide for it, but this being easy mode, I thought I'd show you guys a more conservative, less risky way to get the Dark Moon Sands ring. So we're in Dark Moon Tomb, and we are going to put on the Dark Moon Sands ring. And when we do that, you saw that that wall that had the statue of Lord Wynn disappears, and we can proceed forward. And if you kneel in this rug here with the sign of the sun, you can join Wendelin's covenant. And we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to go right through the fog door, which is going to aggro Wendelin. He's going to think that we're a blasphemous trespasser, and he's going to try to kill us. Now, Wendelin is also another boss fight where you have to be wary of magic attacks. He has a bunch of projectile attacks. One is not blockable. So even if you hold up your shield, you will not be able to block his attack, and that's where he fires a large ball of magic very, very quickly. In addition to that, he has a really, really cool bow that fires multiple times very, very quickly. And it's really a disappointment that you can the bow that you can make with his soul is not the same bow that he carries. You actually just make a bow that does magic damage. Alright, and as you saw again, guys, with easy mode, all it took was me getting close to Wendelin by juking and jiving past his magical attacks and his projectile attacks with the bow. And Soul Mass and Soul Spear took him out in 2 hits. So again, no time to commentate, very little time to spectate, and the fight was pretty much over. So there's a couple items here. They're useless to us really, but we're going to pick them up just to show you, in case you don't know, if this is your first time playing the game, what you can find here. There are 3 chests. One of them is empty. The other one has the Sunlight Blade Miracle, which is one of the strongest miracles in the game. It will imbue your melee weapon with lightning power, and it's a very, very good buff. and the other chest had the armor set of the Bonfire Keeper in Anor Londo. And we walked back to the bonfire. I could have homework going back to the bonfire, but I just decided to save my my homeward bone and instead just go back to the bonfire. And now the next thing that we are going to do, guys, we're kind of tying up loose ends. We're getting to about the 75 or 80% completion mark in the game. The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to go into the painted world of Ariamis. And in order to do that, you have to have the peculiar doll in your possession. If you remember, we picked up the peculiar doll in the Northern Undead Asylum when we returned to the cell where we started the game. And I'm still wearing the white sans ring. I actually could have taken the sans ring out and I could have put on the bellowing ring, or I could have put on the dark wood grain ring if I wanted to have a little bit more um, ability to dodge. But as you saw with this easy mode build, I didn't have to do power within. I didn't have to do the bellowing ring. Just the my high intelligence, the catalyst that I was using, and the Crown of Dusk gave me plenty of power to finish that boss fight very, very quickly. So the way to the painted world of Ariamis is through the giant painting that's at the end of this very large temple, and it's guarded by, appropriately enough, these guardians here, and they can drop their sword, which is a dex weapon, and if you have a high dex build, the damage per second on their curved sword is very, very high. It doesn't have much range, but you can really stack up damage, especially if you wield it with two hands and you swing. So it's a decent sword if you like melee and if you like to get up close and personal. If that's your fighting style. Okay, so there's an enemy there guarding a painting guardian guarding a body. This happens to be Tarkus, and if you want to know the lore for why that body was there, check out my walkthrough, my lore specific walkthrough. And now, with the peculiar doll in our inventory, we simply walk up to the painting, and when we examine it, we are going to be magically transported inside of that painting. So this is actually a gateway or a portal that is going to take us into the painted world of Ariamis. And this is one of the cooler areas in the game. You can actually, the reason I like to come here, it's completely optional, but you can get a lot of souls. So this is a good place to it's dangerous, but it's a good place to level up your build. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. This is the Tech Phantom signing off.